You did not need another vacation. You needed a truth. Because if rest actually fixed burnout, that beach, that hotel room, that out of office email would have changed everything. But it did not. And that is not because you rested wrong. It's because burnout is not a tired body problem. It is something much deeper. Stay with me, because what I am about to say might be uncomfortable, but it will finally make sense of what you have been feeling. You took the leave, you booked the trip, you slept in, you unplugged, and maybe, just maybe, on day 3, you felt much lighter. But then Sunday night came. That familiar tightness in your chest, the quiet dread, the emotional weight that dropped back into place like it never left. Monday showed up, and so did the exhaustion, the irritability, the sense that something in you is quietly resisting your own life. And that's when the confusion sets in. Why am I still tired? What's wrong with me? Other people would kill for this job. Let me say this clearly, calmly, and without drama. Nothing is wrong with you. And no, you're not ungrateful, you're not broken, or even weak. What you are experiencing is misalignment. And until we name it, no amount of rest will touch it. Here is the myth that keeps high-performing women stuck. If I could just get more rest, I would feel like myself again. But rest only works when exhaustion is physical. Burnout, the kind you're dealing with, is emotional, cognitive, and identity-based. It is the fatigue that comes from constantly suppressing your truth, performing competence while disconnecting from yourself, succeeding in a life that no longer feels like it belongs to you. You are not burnout because you work too hard. You're burnout because who you are and how you are living are no longer aligned. And that kind of exhaustion follows you everywhere, even to the most beautiful vacation destinations. Here's the part most burnout conversations skip. Burnout often begins after you have done everything right. You built the career. You became dependable. You became respected. You became the woman people rely on. But somewhere along the way, you started editing yourself. You learned which parts of you were rewarded and which ones needed to be quiet. You adapted. You coped. You succeeded. And slowly, subtly, you drifted away from your internal compass. So now, your life looks impressive, but feels heavy. That's not laziness, it's internal conflict. Think about it this way. Imagine driving a high-performance car with wheels slightly out of alignment. It still moves, it still looks fine, but everything takes more effort. There is resistance, drag, wear and tear you can't quite explain. That's what misalignment feels like internally. You are expending energy just to exist in your own life. So when people say, just take a break, what they are really offering is a temporary pause on a permanent mismatch. And your body knows it. This is why quitting your job is not automatically the solution either. Burnout does not always mean change everything. Sometimes it means tell the truth. Here is what actually helps, quietly, powerfully, and without chaos. First, internal realignment. Before external escape, before you make any big decisions, you need clarity, not relief. Ask yourself, where am I outgrowing a version of myself I had to become? What am I tolerating that I no longer respect? Which values am I violating daily to maintain stability? Burnout is often grief for a self you've outgrown. Secondly, emotional honesty. Most high-achieving women are emotionally fluent, but not emotionally honest. You intellectualize discomfort instead of naming it. But burnout lifts when you stop asking, how do I push through this? And start asking, what is this trying to tell me? Thirdly, career clarity, not career quitting. You don't need to burn your life down. You need to understand which parts of your work drain you because you are misaligned, not because they are hard. Hard work that fits energizes. Easy work that violates your values exhausts. That distinction changes everything. Let me ground this with a familiar reference. Think of Beyonce's Renaissance era. She did not quit music. She did not disappear. She realigned. She stopped performing versions of herself that no longer fit and built something that matched who she had become. Burnout is not asking you to vanish. It is asking you to betraying yourself quietly. Here is the reframe I want you to sit with. Burnout is not a personal failure. It's data. It's feedback from a nervous system that has been negotiating too long. It's your inner self saying, this way of living no longer honors who you are. And the moment you stop fighting that message, clarity starts to return. Energy follows alignment. Peace follows truth. So if your vacation did not fix your burnout, good. That means your system is honest. It means you are ready for a deeper conversation. Not about rest, but about meaning. You do not need to disappear. You do not need to quit tomorrow. And you definitely do not need to shame yourself. You need alignment. And alignment begins the moment you stop asking, how do I recover faster? And start asking, how do I live truer? That's not a breakdown, that's a threshold. And you're not behind, you are becoming. If this resonated, sit with it. Let it work on you. And when you are ready, we will go deeper. Because burnout is not the end of your capacity. It's the beginning of your clarity. You are not tired. You are misaligned. And that is fixable. See you on the next one.